focus to another big story that continues to develop. The Maratha Quota bill giving the community 10% reservation in government and education jobs has been passed in the one-day Special Assembly session. Now, addressing the Assembly, the Chief Minister, Eknath Shinde, said that though he has fulfilled his promise, the credit for this legislation should also go to activist Patil, who led the protests for the Maratha community. But importantly and significantly, the activist Patil has said that this is not the demand of the community and that protests will continue. He said a certificate needs to be given to blood relatives of Kunbi Marathas and that the reservation for the Maratha community must be given from the OBC quota. Earlier, the cabinet had given its nod to the Backward Commission report, which concluded that the Maratha community was socially and educationally backward. Importantly, this is also the third time in a decade that the state has introduced legislation for the Maratha quota. Now, each time such a legislation has been introduced, it has been before an election and based on a survey which concluded that the community is backward. Each legislation granting a Maratha quota was then struck down in court, mainly because the Supreme Court has upheld that reservations cannot cross the 50% limit. In the state, reservations are already at 52%. With a 10% Maratha quota, the reservations will now reach 62% and face a legal challenge.
मराठ्यांचं वाटोळं करायला याच्यासाठी करोडोच्या संख्येनं मराठा एकत्र आलाय एवढं मोठं पाहिजे एकच विषय घेता आमच्या थोपवत आहे का ते आरक्षण ज्याच्या नोंदी सापडल्या नाहीत त्यांच्यासाठी हे आरक्षण ते थोपवत आहे का आमच्याकडे ही मागणीच नाहीये मग मराठ्यांची पहिल्यापासून मागणी ओबीसीतून 50%च्या आत आरक्षण पाहिजे ज्याच्या नोंदी मिळाल्यात त्यांना प्रमाणपत्र द्यायची आणि ज्यांच्या नोंदी मिळाल्या नाहीत त्यांच्यासाठी महाराष्ट्रभरातल्या मराठ्यांसाठी सगळ्या सोयऱ्यांची अधिसूचना काढून त्याची अंमलबजावणी करायची मग अधिवेशन बोलवलंच तर तुम्ही तोही विषय घ्या आम्ही नाही म्हणत नाहीत परंतु सगळ्या सोयऱ्यांच्या अंमलबजावणीच्या बाबतची तुम्ही चर्चा कसं काय करत नाही म्हणजे करोडो मराठ्यांची मागणी गोरगरिबांच्या मराठ्यांच्या पोरांना ओबीसीतून आरक्षण मिळालं पाहिजे आणि तुम्ही आम्हाला दुसरं ताट दाखवता ते चालणार नाही अजिबात नाही चालणार आम्हाला सगळ्या सोयऱ्यांचीच अंमलबजावणी पाहिजे नसता उद्या आंदोलनाची दिशा ठरवणार आहेत आम्ही
Crossing over to my colleague Abhishek, who now joins us live. He's going to be bringing us more details about what exactly is taking place when it comes to the Maratha reservation demand. Because, again, the activist Patil has said that protests will continue. Now, on that note, Abhishek, what I wanted to ask you was, could you go through the specific demands of the Maratha community when it comes to what they want in the state? Because they're saying that the bill that's been passed has nothing to do with their demands.
See, one thing that we need to understand, Manoj Patil is demanding a Maratha reservation in OBC category through Kunbi caste certificate, and to those who can present the proof of Kunbi being a Kunbi Maratha, and then the administration grants them Kunbi certificate, and then they get reservation in OBC category. But what happened today in the Maharashtra Assembly is, an independent, separate reservation, 10% to Maratha community across the state in education and government job has been passed in both the houses unanimously. So, but again the point here remains is Jarange Patil is telling that this reservation or the bill that has been passed will not sustain legal scrutiny and will fall before or could not sustain before the Supreme Court or the High Court. And that's the reason he is again and again repeatedly demanding that Maratha should get reservation in OBC category via Kunbi certificate. In fact, those Marathas who already got the Kunbi certificate, their relatives should be allowed to get reservation, and for that a law should be passed. And for that, government has already passed a draft notification earlier, and which is demanding that that notification should be turned into a law and should be passed as the bill today was passed for Maratha reservation separately. So this is what he is demanding, and from tomorrow onwards, he will decide on the next course of action. But while addressing the House, CM Eknath Shinde has clarified that, the draft notification that has been out for the Kunbi caste certificate, for giving certificates to the blood relatives of same lineage is something into consideration. It has received over 6 lakh suggestions and objections, and that needs to be, vetted, needs to be understood by the government and the administration, and accordingly certain steps at appropriate time will be taken. So definitely he has not completely rejected the demand, but that demand will take time.
Thank you so much for joining us and bringing us those details. Now, we'll continue to return to you.